coming to camera in 3, 2, 1. Hey, sorry guys. Aaron,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Playing Minecraft?
Okay, you know we're about to do the start of season 3 of Ready Take Live, right?
Oh, well, don't mind me. I'll keep it down.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing that we're in the MCR, but it also works out that we're talking about live gaming today, so it's kind of funny. Did you know we were talking about this?
No idea. No clue.
Okay, well, live's a game, and this is Ready Take Live. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Ready Take Live.
Hello.
A live
Hello.
show about live shows. This is season 3. We're really excited to be back. You can see we've got some new visuals going on, which is awesome. So shout out to Clara, our visual effects artist. We're going with the neon pieces. So that's really our new theme. So you'll see more throughout the coming weeks. We'll add in more elements. But yeah, how you guys been? You been good? I'm asking you guys, even though I see you every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me know if you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll get right into it. I don't know why I'm stalling. So today, obviously, we're talking about live gaming, which is something really exciting to us. So you saw Aaron in our cold open was playing Minecraft on our LED wall. You can also see it right there. So that's a 10-foot by 7-foot LED wall we're super proud of, and we actually do live gaming from here once a week during football season, and anytime you want. So give us a call. It's obviously the new thing. Twitch is taking over, all of that. So I'd love to start out by asking Nick Nagurka and Nick Walsh, and also anyone watching, what kind of live video games you like to play. So I admittedly am not a huge gamer. I do enjoy a good round of Mario Kart, and I usually pick to play the Luigi character. So that's my that's my foray into gaming. What about you, Nick Nagurka?
Well, I also love Mario Kart, but I'm probably the biggest fan of Day of Defeat on the Steam platform, but I haven't played in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Walls?
My favorite game is Portal. I don't know if you ever played it, but it's a really cool puzzle physics game where you make little portals and you jump in one and fly out the other one. And it was a lot of fun. I've played a lot of it with my little brother, and it was a ton of fun to play.
Now, is that an older game or is that a newer game?
Older-ish, I think. The first one came out probably in mid-2000s, and the one after that probably came out in the later 2000s. So old-ish, depends on your definition.
That makes sense. From a graphics perspective, how has gaming changed?
Well, graphics in games has gone from something like this to something like this.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that the amount of visual effects artists too, it's great because we're making jobs for all of our amazing visual effects artists that we have now.
Yeah.
And all of these ways to make video games are at your fingertips. If you have Adobe Creative Cloud, there's so many new options there, and it's not this highbrow thing anymore to be able to work for a game. You can make your own. But also, this whole episode's kind of reminding me of Bandersnatch a little bit. But yeah, just putting that out there. So let's talk about esports overall to start with. So some statistics, not always a fun thing to talk about, but these are highly interesting. So it's a rapidly growing market. In 2018, esports had roughly a $905 million in revenue, jumping from $493 million in 2016. So that's not quite 500 million jump. So almost doubled in revenue. and then 655 million in 2017. So in 2 years, or in 1 year, it jumped $250 million, which is amazing. And with over 165 million dedicated fans and another 205 million occasional users. And that's something that really fascinates me about e-gaming is how many people just watch it and don't actually play. That's a huge market. Obviously, there's more people just watching than there are actual users. So, yeah. So Twitch is obviously one of the biggest ones. Twitch has over 15 million daily active users and 2 million unique broadcasts per month. It's the leading streaming platform for gamers and for esports. Gamers will go live on Twitch for long sessions. Sometimes, like, people will go live for 8 hours, which is... People obviously game for 8 hours, but being live for 8 hours is amazing. We obviously get to do it a couple times a year, but it's a different perspective. It makes it a very unique form of media because the audiences will watch for long periods of time. Those 205 million people will watch for all the 8 hours. And Twitch has been so successful, it actually bought by Amazon for $970 million in 2014. 2014, also, it wasn't making as much money to be in video games. So Amazon knew what they were getting into, apparently, which is awesome.
And the whole history of Twitch is really, really interesting. There's this podcast called Startup that does a really great episode on it, because it started as this thing called Justin TV, which is just a platform for people to live stream their daily lives, and it kind of transformed into like the video gaming behemoth that it is now. So I highly recommend listening to that to get the full history of where Twitch came from.
Yeah. Twitch.
Woo!
Go ahead, Nagurka. What do you want?
Yeah, well, competitors to Twitch include YouTube Gaming, which is huge considering YouTube already had a huge stake in the online gaming community, but now you can go live. Previously it was all VOD content. Plus, Mixer, a Microsoft-owned streaming service, Stream TV, and the newer Facebook Gaming. Many of these gamers use OBS to put out their streams or Restream.io with a simple one camera, one light setup in a room at home. And they still get massive amounts of views and even do this as a full-time job. Although for big competitions and events, the productions have become absolutely massive and they rival the top sporting events in the world.
I know. I feel like some of these events, not even some of them, most of them have similar views to like the Super Bowl, which is insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And I think there's a lot of coverage of esports coming out, or esports production coming out, but I think the way that they organize their content, the way that they set up their productions, especially in remote production, is really, really interesting and could really benefit a lot of at-home production as well as real sports content.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later too, but we've seen some of the trucks and even just the rooms that production teams will take over to build out a live stream of 100 gamers. And it's amazing. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. And even just to get all the pips, the picture-in-picture moments for each of those competitors is a feat in and of itself. Racks and racks of, FS1s or whatever.
Yeah. Definitely. So we're talking about all these things now. There are celebrities that have come from gaming as well. I'm sure many of you have heard of Ninja. Excuse me. We just talked about Twitch. Have heard of Ninja. So he is by far the most notable personality in esports. You'd recognize him from his hair. It does change colors depending on his appearance. So beware. So he's an ex-professional Halo player and a Twitch live streamer, obviously, an internet personality who blew up with live streaming on Twitch of the free game Fortnite Battle Royale, which has a huge following in the gaming and Twitch community. He cracked into mainstream fame with a Fortnite session and has worked with hip-hop artists like Drake, Travis Scott, NFL player Juju Smith-Schuster. Those are two interesting names to hyphenate. Pushing over 600,000 live viewers and breaking the record for most viewed Twitch stream ever. Now, the fame continued to grow as Ninja shed a light on Twitch gaming and esports and how much money and influence his community was actually gaining. He even made an appearance on Times Square New Year's Eve Live this year, which was awesome, our show. So he was there for the ball drop, but his goal was to have everyone in Times Square, 1 million New Yorkers, do the floss dance with him at the same time. Obviously, floss is from, Fortnite claims it. It's not technically from Fortnite. I don't know who actually wants to claim it at the end of the day.
Backpack Kid.
Backpack Kid. But did he not get it from Fortnite?
No, he made it first,
Made it
for
first.
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Or no, like he made it and then
went viral, and
yeah.
then Katy Perry definitely took it
Barred
back
him.
with that. Yeah. Obviously, we watched him do this floss, and it was kind of painful to watch.
It was
right,
a
guys?
little rainy out there. I think there was a lack of motivation.
Yeah.
Crowd.
The cameras, we had to just keep cutting to the same couple people who were willing to do it.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, not too many people
But
are
it
willing.
made it on the Reddit channel live stream fails. So
Yeah, which is awesome. But
That's
he was
all you really
actually-
want.
we'll probably be there later today ourselves, so it's fine.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be really cool. What's funny too is that he was actually in Times Square to make the world's longest live stream, right? That was the whole point of it being there.
Yeah, because he had a suite upstairs, right?
Yeah, it was like the world's longest stream. I'm guessing it was probably sponsored by Fortnite, since he did the floss. But yeah, so just
Yeah.
yeah. Nagurka,
All right, what's next?
let's talk about growth and cultural.
Oh yeah.
influence.
So apparently now parents are hiring coaches for their kids. Is it Fortnite coaches to help their children become better players? And
I could use one of those.
influencers. Yeah.
Is it like chess coaches?
Yeah, or like a violin teacher, or
Yeah.
young prodigies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Also, there's a video of Marshmello. Yeah.
Oh yes, the Marshmallow concert in Fortnite.
Which is really good advertisement for themselves.
Absolutely.
It's certainly their brand and their viewers. So that works out nicely. So let's talk about, besides Fortnite, though, there's some other big games in esports, obviously. For online gaming, there's Dota 2, League of Legends, Overwatch, Counter-Strike, PUBG, Minecraft. We're playing that. Rocket League, Apex Legends, Call of Duty series, and Halo. Yeah. So those are the big ones. Do you guys play any of those?
I play Fortnite a little bit. I tried Overwatch, but I don't like those type of games that much. And I played PUBG, which is like the predecessor to Fortnite. And I was talking to my friend about Apex Legends, and I heard it's really cool, so I'm probably going to give that a try soon.
I used to play on the Counter-Strike platform. I would play, what was the one? Well, Counter-Strike, of course, all the Steam series of games. And what was, Walsh, do you remember the one that was like super apocalyptic?
Fallout?
No, it was like the original like apocalypse game.
Oh,
Or
I
not
don't
the
know.
original, but like
The actual apocalypse.
yeah,
No, no.
like first-person shooter game. I don't remember. Obviously, it's been
GoldenEye?
too
No.
long. It's
Wow.
been too long for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like even if you went back to, obviously, like the style of Mario Kart and even like Pac-Man has a specific quality of video. But even if you just went back a couple years to when this like the first Halo game or any of those, and you compared them to now, it would be such a significant difference too. So I know we showed the difference between the graphics of like a very original Atari video game and then now, but even just in the past couple years, because of all the money that's now in gaming, especially with the live streaming of it, all the graphics have been so elevated as well.
Yeah, and as like GPUs and CPUs have been getting smaller and smaller, and now they've been able to been put in consoles like the Switch, which is like designed to be both plugged into your TV and also taken on the go, and it has really, really impressive capabilities. And that's just like gonna keep continuing, especially when we get to like VR space. Well, just considering how much a world creation is going to be needed for that, and ideally is the plan is to have it completely mobile and not need to be plugged into a computer. So people are definitely actively working on that right now, and it'll be really, really exciting to see where all this goes.
Well, it's great for all of us too, as we all have access to more powerful computers for production and for otherwise. Gaming laptops are incredible for the amount of money, and they're meant to be somewhat affordable to the public. And so it's nice for everyone to have access to that now.
Yeah, definitely. So we started to talk about the tech behind it, and this is where we have more of a forte in. So I'd actually love to challenge Nick Walsh and Nick Nagurka to come up with their favorite live streaming, live gaming workflow. So all the way down to like what would you view the game on, what console or computer would you play the game on, and then to audio and encoding it. What are your preferences?
I guess the big question is what kind of game it is, because there's so many different types that I can think would like impact the workflow. So what kind of game were you imagining?
Let's say we want to live stream Aaron right now playing Minecraft.
Okay. All right. So we have one player, one game. So so I'd say we'd have probably some way to pull in the right now they're playing on Xbox, so we'd pull that in, and we'd also need to have to display it to the actual player. So the trick with that is you want as low latency as possible. A lot of times, also players will, mainly for computer games, want to play on monitors that actually have a refresh rate of like 144 hertz instead of like your normal like 60 hertz or 30 hertz. So that'll be kind of a consideration, is what monitor they're going to be looking at. But with Xbox, I think it only has an output of up to 60 hertz anyway. So honestly, I would try to split the signal before bringing it into the broadcast world, and then just go to their display so they could have the best experience. Because if you're not giving the players the tools to play the best, then they're probably gonna be mad, and like the sport's not gonna be as interesting, or like the show's not gonna be as interesting. So that's probably the major thing I would do to start off with. And then in terms of camera coverage, I think with Minecraft, it's kind of a creative game, not so much like a combat game. So I think like you can kind of keep it like intimate, and maybe just do like one or two of the player itself. Hopefully, I guess depends on like what the content of the show is. Maybe they're like talking you through what they're building, or like making it, or maybe it's like one of those shows where people suggest things and they like actually go out and do the suggestions. So yeah, that would probably be where I would start from for video.
Right, and as soon as you get into more multiplayer settings too, it's like the chatter between players is something that we really want to consider too. Something like Aaron playing single player Minecraft is we're gonna want his commentary, but we're not gonna need any chatter between other players. It's interesting. I've seen a lot of I think people are using Discord. Is that right, Walsh?
Yeah, Discord. It's kind of like Slack that a lot of people are familiar with, but it's started out geared towards the gaming community, so they could have their own chat that's outside of whatever game they're in. That's pretty light, but actually they're starting to kind of pivot and start being made more for businesses and stuff. And yeah, that's what a lot of people are using right now.
Right on. What else do we want to consider? How many players you have? How many times you need to do a picture-in-picture? Because that can really stack things up.
Yeah, let's say you have 4 players.
4 players, 4 pips. You might need a sub switcher or some other hardware that can do that, or a pretty heavy-duty switcher.
Or even some routers have pips built in, and that could just like make it easier.
Yep. Let's see, what else? Do we want to broadcast in stereo, or do we want to take the native surround feature of the game if it has it? What else? Do you want to... Whose perspective are we watching from, too? That's the other thing to consider.
Yeah, I mean, we want it to be like, we'll do it similar to how we do our like Madden setup. So it would be single player on the green screen cutout with the game behind them.
Right on.
They'd be put on top of it, yeah.
I think Walsh got a lot of what?
Yeah, he did. Covered most of it.
I guess, and in terms of like encoding, I guess also like, here's a question. What platforms would you guys try to gear towards?
I think obviously Twitch, but obviously YouTube is getting a foothold in it, so I wouldn't say we should count that out. But it'd be great to get a partnership with YouTube so that you're exclusive and you get some ad dollars for it or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, and Twitch would be also too for like the real-time interactivity. That's like a really great opportunity for low latency streaming too, which is what a lot of people are doing, mainly for like the single-person at-home setups. in order to engage with their viewers is at having as low a latency as possible, so they could try to have some kind of conversation. So they'll actually employ methods with like OBS or with YouTube or whatever, or Twitch, to actually have as low of a latency as physically possible. So that way they can actually talk to their viewers, which must be interesting too if all these people are playing out of their houses. They must have like pretty serious internet bills, you know, to make sure that they could like both be like watching their own video while talking to people at the same time as like uploading their video, and just like keeping that whole flow going for like 12 hours a day.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Cool. What encoder would you use? Do you like the Hikvision Makito X or?
Yeah, that'd be good. I would, yeah, because that could do RTMP. I just don't know what other, like over RT, like in order to hit like Twitch and YouTube, we would need like RTMP, and I don't know what latency that is on that. Because like with their SRT stuff, it's like ultra low, like a sub-second over public internet. But I don't know exactly off the top of my head if like, RTMP is also as fast. So honestly, I would just probably use, I don't know, I feel like to reduce delay as much as possible, like I wouldn't want to go 4K, like because, or I don't know, maybe solid, maybe it depends, I guess, because like I would do 4K, but on like vMix or something that I don't have to change, like quad out the image, just so like you're not having introducing any conversion that you don't need, if we're trying to keep this like super low latency. So maybe I would go with like something like vMix or whatever, and then which has some low latency modes on there that you could use, and then I'm not too familiar with like what settings you could actually control for low latency on Twitch, but like on YouTube there's like a selection you can actually go to turn on ultra low latency, so I try to make sure that's on. But of course when you reduce latency, it also makes it a little bit more taxing on your machine, so I would like make sure whatever server, whatever like production bot or whatever computer I'm using to stream from has some pretty good specs, because it will not have a lot of time to cache the video, and it'll try to be pushing out as much as physically possible.
Totally.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
What
think
about
we covered-
NDI? Would we use NDI?
Yeah, maybe if it's
Or like your own web, web
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah, it'd be good for like a light way to get the person's video back on their own without having to install video infrastructure. You could just like have it on like whatever like computer they might be streaming from, like also like an NDI signal if you needed to. Also like another interesting thing, which it would be great for Minecraft because it is like so epic in building, is finding a way to have a spectator mode enacted in it. So then, because if you think about like sports, like football or soccer or whatever, most of the show is on that big high and wide. And so for esports and stuff, it is hard to create that. And a lot of times you have to actually work with the developers of the game to make that yourselves. And there'll be some people that will actually have Xboxes purely dedicated to having a spectator camera flying around, and they use an Xbox controller to just fly a virtual camera around. So I know that some people are doing that. And I think that's like a really, really cool industry that will come about as esports get bigger and bigger, is how do we actually capture it in a way that we similarly capture sports in the real world.
Yeah, so Steve on YouTube actually just commented and said he's always found the video good for streaming his son's gaming.
All right.
Right on.
So, yeah.
Some video.
We have one of those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's great for the field too. So,
Yeah.
the at-home setup,
Certainly.
definitely.
It's kind of cool, like viewing the Xbox Observer is almost like you're almost like in a Skycam option.
Yeah.
you know? It's so strange though. It's like when like your view of the actual action it's not physical. It's not physical space.
Right. And it's also
Come that.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because like the environments are better served for games if they are complicated and like tall and like have a ton of levels and doors and stuff. It makes it for a better game, but it makes it really, really hard to shoot too if you're trying to keep track of it. So that's what a lot of people are trying to figure out, is like how do we actually make a broadcast that communicates what's going on the best in a really, really complicated environment. But you do have the ability to, you're in a virtual world, so you can create whatever you want to. So it's like a really cool problem that some people have been taking really creative approaches with.
Definitely. Let's check in with Aaron. Hey, Aaron, how's it going in there?
Just came across this thing.
What in the world? Look,
know.
it's Ready Take Live.
I don't know. It's some kind of artifact.
That was
found
in
in the
the
world.
game. Wow.
Oh, I'm ascending to the heavens.
You never know what you'll find
You
in
never know
Minecraft.
what you're gonna find.
Well, Thank you, everyone, for watching. Obviously, feel free to comment, reach out to us, find us on social, and we'll catch you next time. Best of luck on your next live production.